Hi and welcome to another episode of Dreaming in Fibre. My name is Sara from SarasTextureCrafts and I will be your host for today. I hope the sound's okay. I was just playing around with a quick video beforehand and it seemed to be quite quiet. So I'm trying to speak a bit louder, as loud as I can without my neighbours thinking I've gone completely mad. But we'll see how it goes, so bear with me for that. And also I'm in my little office today, just because I'm sampling downstairs, which I'll talk about a bit more in a minute. So I've got machines and pots and things going, so it's quite kind of noisy down there and the light's not great, so I thought we'd best be up here again today. So what have I got to tell you? Sorry, excuse me. Hay fever attack from all of the fleece and tops that I've been dyeing. So I apologise if I sound a little bit chesty today. Yeah, hay fever getting the better of me, but let's not complain. We've had a week of absolutely amazing weather here in Devon at least. And I think actually for most of the country we had some really fantastic sun, which is the first time this summer. And so for me it was an opportunity to get stuff dry in the garden, so I got a few fleeces dry and some tops dry and things like that, so that was fantastic. And it was also good weather for the one of the shows that I did. So, okay, let's get started. First I wanted to let you know that the Fibre Club spots are up. Fibre Club is, as you may remember if you watched last episode, is a new product that I have developed and put out there for you to buy. Basically it is a 3-month delivery with a total of 600 grams of exclusive colourways. There will be 6 colourways in all, so for each of the 3-month drops, for each month you'll get 200 grams. 2 different colourways, and they will be on different bases. The idea is that I want to introduce you to new colours that I intend to start selling from January onwards, and also to give you a bit more scope, a bit more variety in your spinning. So not all on booth lace Leicester, there will be a mixture of fibre bases there for you. So I'm quite excited about that, and if you did watch the last episode, you'll hear me mention that that offer would go out exclusively to my News Club members first of all. And so those newsletter recipients had the chance to buy their spots from the 30 places that I'm offering. I think I'm around 17 or 18 spots already bought from the newsletter group, so thanks guys, that's really fantastic for the first club of this type, and a very positive response. And I even had a few people who said, you know, they would love to have been involved but just didn't have the cash this time around. Well, don't worry. First of all, thank you very much for, you know, even taking the time just to reply and let me know that you couldn't but you would have loved to, because that's always useful to know that there is a demand out there for this. Even if I can't do something for you this time, the second thing that's coming from that fantastic response that I've had is that I really do think I will be doing this as a biannual event. So the next club will go on sale in January of next year, and depending on my shows, which I will tell you a bit more about when I speak about shows and events and things a bit later on, I hope to have those shipped probably around end of February, beginning of March, the first shipment. So that should be quite a nice time. It's still cool enough to be spinning yarn to knit with, so please look out for that. But the main thing that I wanted to, or the main reason why I wanted to mention Fibre Club today, is that the spots are now live on the website. So if you pop over to www.sarastexturecrafts.com, you will find a listing for the remaining Fibre Club spots. I also have some of those spots available to my Etsy customers, because I realise that some of you prefer still to shop on Etsy. That's fine. Whilst I can't offer my complete range or the full service that I offer from my website on Etsy, I can at least offer club spots there. So I've put a few of the club spots up on Etsy. You can find that on www.sarastexturecrafts.etsy.com, and I'll put the link below and in the show notes. So yeah, there are two ways that you can buy. I also want to re-mention that for those of you from the newsletter group who bought one slot but wanted a second slot, there are slots left. I have 30 slots in total. So as far as I'm concerned at this stage, I offered you guys everything. I'm halfway full. There are still some slots available, so if you wanted a second batch, you can now do that. So let me know. You can pay via PayPal or credit card on the website, and as I say, that will be open, I think, until, yes, just looking at my calendar up there, it will be open until the 21st of August, so you've got a few weeks left on that, so do let me know if you're interested, and I can get you a spot sorted out. So that's Fibre Club kind of mentioned. The only other thing I wanted to say about Fibre Club is I'm seriously thinking about doing a spin along. One of the things that I learnt from the Tour de Fleece little kind of group spin along this year was that a lot of you do like to spin with the fibres that I dye or that I blend, and you like to share that work with other people, so I thought it would... Okay, so sorry there, I got cut off. A phone call, but a good phone call this time, no PPIs. This time it was a farmer calling me just to let me know that they've got some fleece ready for me, so yay, more fleece, like I need any more. But yeah, no, I do. This is the Massam and the Teeswater Kerry Hill farmer. So that should be quite interesting to go up there and see the fleece and pick out some for the shop and also for dyeing as well. So good phone call. Okay, so what was I talking about? I was talking about the idea of a spin along for the Fibre Club. Now I know that there's plenty of you that are on Ravelry, and so what I've done is I have created a page on there where you can go and find, or it's like a sort of mini database if you like, you can go and find different products that I have, and I have a listing on there at the moment for Fleece Club, so those that have joined Fleece Club can add that to their stash and then show what they've spun up and then what they knit or crochet or weave from that. So I thought it would be quite interesting if we could do the same kind of thing for Fibre Club. First of all, it allows me to see the kinds of things that you guys are looking to spin and then knit using different techniques, and how those colours work. I mean, obviously I do my small tests here, but I do basic tests where I spin a very small piece and then either knit that up into a basic swatch or whatever. So it will be nice to see different people's takes on that, and you know, what they choose to apply it against, and so on, and then what the projects that they look to knit, crochet or weave with it, because obviously that, for future reference for me, allows me to kind of evolve my colour range and my fibre base range to hopefully meet the demands of you, the customer. So I thought that would be quite interesting, and also maybe an opportunity for you to maybe win a prize in the same way that I did on the Tour de Fleece little spin along competition we've got, and there's also a prize for Fleece Club as well. So that's still to kind of be decided, but that is in my mind, and I think that should be quite fun. So as I say, Fibre Club spots that are remaining are up on the website and on Etsy, so let me know if you need some. Okay, Tour de Fleece. I wanted to thank everybody who joined in the Tour de Fleece competition. I had a fantastic time. It was an amazing response from you guys. There were plenty of you who did spin along with me. There were plenty of you who also spun along behind the scenes, who I saw at various shows throughout the month, who kind of said, you know, I'm a bit of a lurker in the group in that I don't post, but I have been spinning along and I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying watching what everybody else has been spinning, so thank you to each and every one of you who joined in and played along with us. I know there were a few of you who signed up to spin along and for whatever reason didn't end up spinning along during the Tour de Fleece. Well, don't worry, that's fine. That's the way it goes. You know, life gets in the way. As long as, you know, you knew it was there and you could drop in if and when you wanted to, that's all I'm worried about. It was no major big deal. I just wanted us to have a little bit of fun. And you know what? There'll be plenty more spin-alongs, knit-alongs, and there'll also be Tour de Fleece next year, because I definitely think that will be worth doing again next year. And I'll be a little bit more on the ball and a little bit more organised, so I'll mention it in the podcast and the newsletter before Tour de Fleece starts this time round. So I guess I should probably mention my Tour de Fleece. I haven't brought up the skeins of Manx Lockton that I spun on. I did get, I would say I'm about 2/3 of the way through the fleece. I really would have loved to have gotten further with that, but it was just one of those things. I just didn't have enough time. So for the Tour de Fleece, and I'm reading from my Ravelry page, so I apologise if I'm looking down, I managed to ply and skein 4 skeins of Manx. And I was getting a chunky weight, so it was about 448 grams in total and 418, just a little bit over, metres. So that's quite good. I'm quite pleased with that. I also managed to spin up 2 other bobbins that I didn't get plied during the Tour de Fleece competition. I've since plied those and they are now setting as we speak. I think I will get just enough for a cardigan of some description. Again, I'm still not sure what I will make out of that, but I will show you as I get to it. I enjoyed spinning it. I loved the fleece. It was absolutely amazing. I still have some of the fleece left. I was inundated with a few orders, so I managed to get hold of a few more fleeces for us for this year. So if you do want those, they cost £9 a kilo and they are available on the website. I do differing amounts, so if you just wanted 500 grams or 250 grams or even just 100 grams to try that out, then you can do. That was the Manx fleece was also one of the fleeces in the first shipment of Fleece Club that went out, say about a week ago, something like that. And it was really great to get feedback on that. I've had a few customers who've said that they were so delighted with the package and the contents of the first Fleece Club shipment that they've pretty much spun it all already, and I've actually seen some of that spinning both online through pictures that I've been sent by email and in the flesh. One of my customers came to see me at the Coldharbour Wool and Craft Fair, which was this weekend just gone on the Sunday, and it was really nice to see some of the Gotland fleece, which was another fleece in that first Fleece Club shipment, spun up into a single yarn on his spindle, and it was really nice to hear how he had taken time to prepare the fleeces and how he had found the first shipment package. So I'm I am very excited really about Fleece Club. It's kind of surpassed my expectations really. I thought that I probably wouldn't sell very many Fleece Club spots because, you know, I know a lot of people are kind of a bit frightened of spinning from the fleece if they haven't done it before, because they think there's a hell of a lot of preparation involved, and there is if you buy a huge fleece. But if you just receive it in small amounts, then it's very little prep work, and quite an enjoyable thing to, you know, to spin with and to knit with and to practice your spinning with as well. So I was really pleased that there was such a good response to the Fleece Club, and the amount of people that I managed to get sign up for that. And so it will be interesting to see how those people get along with that and with the second and third shipments as well. If you are a member of Fleece Club and for some reason have missed the information about the competition I've got going, then here is your reminder. If you pop over onto Ravelry, if you're not on Ravelry, Ravelry is free to join and is a fantastic kind of a social network, but it's also a place for you to record and store your spinning or knitting or crochet and weaving now as well. A nice place for you to find new yarns and new patterns for your own craft work, so you can get as involved or you know, sit on the sidelines as much as you like. Just use it as a resource rather than a forum and a kind of get together, which is the social side of the network. Over there I have in my group a little spin along for Fleece Club members, and the idea is that you know, you kind of show me what you've done with each of the fleeces and talk about how you found them, how you've been getting on with them, and the person who I feel has learnt the most or developed the most throughout the journey of Fleece Club has the opportunity to win 500 grams of their preferred fleece from the club. Doesn't sound like a lot, you say, but 500 grams, if it's prepped and plied in the right way, you could get a hell of a lot of yardage out of that, and it'd certainly be a substantial knitting project. So, what was the other thing I wanted? I'm looking at my notes again, sorry. The other thing I wanted to mention, going back to the Tour de Fleece, was I am about to announce the winner of the Tour de Fleece spin along. That was just for fun. I will be drawing the winner for that competition on the 6th of August, which is next Monday. And I will be choosing purely at random. It's like a lottery, so if you joined in and you spun up other people's fibre, then you just get one entry. If you joined in and spun up from my fibre, then you get 2 entries. So I'll be drawing completely at random for that, and the winner will be receiving, sorry for the rustling and the leaning, but they will be getting a special braid of my custom colourway for the Tour de Fleece yellow jersey. This is Blueface Leicester and Sparkle. You get 100 grams in that, and that normally retails for £6.25, so the winner will get one of those, and I will draw that August the 6th. If we move on to my projects, I can show you immediately my spinning of yellow jersey. I decided I needed to award myself a yellow jersey because, like in the Tour de France, there's not always one person who sort of owns and wears the yellow jersey. It's, you know, usually several people throughout the race. So I thought, well, you know, I'm sure I deserve a turn at winning the yellow, wearing the yellow jersey, right? Okay. So I dyed up 150 grams for myself, the idea that I would knit something summery to wear. So this is 150 grams. I haven't measured the yardage yet, but just to kind of show you what I've done, I knitted up some singles first of all, and then I decided to ply them. I wasn't sure actually how to ply them. I knew that I wanted yardage enough for more than a hat because I wasn't sure wearing yellow next to the skin for me would work. So I thought maybe a shawl or some kind of stole or something like that would be quite nice, and so for that I would need a fair amount of yardage. So what I decided to do was spin up the singles and then ply them, and I hope you can see that, against a very fine wool boucle. And that's come up quite nicely, and I think there is more than enough there. As I was spinning, I got to the end of the cone of the woolen boucle, and I still had a substantial amount of the yellow jersey, Blueface Leicester and Sparkle single left on the bobbin, and I hate wasting it. So I decided to ply this one against just some sewing threads. So I chose a few different colours. I've got yellow, red and orange there, work quite nicely with the yellow of the Blueface Leicester. And I've plied these, and during the ply I've added beads, which I strung beforehand onto the sewing cotton. So I'm hoping that that will be a nice trim element to whatever I decide to make from the main bulk of the wool that I've got there. So I'm quite pleased with that. That's come up quite nicely. There's a bit more of that so that you can see. I've also got some yellow beads on there which you can't really see, I have to say, but I kind of know they're there, and I'm hoping when I knit it up that they will show through a bit more in terms of texture for the trimming, but we'll see. I've still got to find an ideal project for that, and also I've got to measure yardage before I even start looking for a project. But I think it will probably be a shawl or a stole, something that I could wear on the beach maybe. I don't know, we shall see. The next thing I really kind of wanted to mention, which is still kind of on that sort of spinning phase, was I'm preparing for the new shows, but also I'm sampling as well at the moment. So what I decided to do is spin up some of the blends that I have in the shop and some of the hand-dyed colourways, just so that you get a bit of a feel of how it would look like in a single. I mean, obviously, depending on how you apply that, your finished yarn might look completely different to the singles that I show you, but it would just give you a bit of an idea how some of those colours work up. The first one, I've got about 50 grams there of Merino blend in my limited edition colourway Raspberry Chocolate. Now this is a very very edible colourway. It is as tasty in real life as the name Raspberry Chocolate suggests, and if I can just get my finger under there. I'm spinning that up quite fine. It will be at least an hour and weight if I ply it, but I'll probably ply this again against some threads, and this will be something that I either put in the shop or will go towards one of the next shows. But that's, I hope you can see that from the light as well. If I just do that, maybe that will help. And hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of how that looks spun up. And here is one of my old favourites, Wild Raspberry. Again, I'm spinning a similar weight. I'm not worried too much about thick and thin because I'm definitely going to spin this against a lurex thread so that it really pops when you see it on the stand, and this will definitely go to one of the shows that I do, but hopefully you can get an idea of how that looks. And that's probably about 60 grams, something like that. a fair amount of yardage there. Certainly if you chose a plain yarn that matched in terms of colour to go with that, you would be able to knit a shawl. That could be quite interesting. And then finally on the last bobbin I've got, this is about 60 grams of hand-dyed colourway full leaves. And if I show you that, that's it on a merino base. Up until now I've mostly sold that on a Blueface Leicester base. But the other thing you will notice from the shop this week is that I have a custom listing on there. Now, the custom listing, and you'll find that also on Etsy if you prefer to shop on Etsy, is for you to be able to buy from my hand-dyed colour range. I've put together a colour card so that you can choose your colour, and then within the listing you've got a choice of bases that you can choose, so from Blueface Leicester right through to Cheviot, Merino, Shetland, and so on. So you get the opportunity to grab some of that before it goes and sells out too fast for you in some of the shop updates, because I was getting a lot of people have started to watch my shop for the shop updates, and some of you unfortunately have not been quick enough on mouse buttons to get things through to the cart and paid for. So I appreciate that some of you haven't been able to get what you've wanted to order while it was in stock. I can only dye kind of 4 at a time of these braids, which I've sort of been dividing up between the website and on Etsy. So I know that if there are more of you that want the fibre, then there is fibre available. You've not been able to get that up until now. So that custom listing will get you 100 grams or however many you choose to buy in said colourway, and I can get that done up for you. I also had a couple of people who asked me if I could dye up a jumper's worth of said colourway. Well, this again is your opportunity to put in for that amount. At the moment, dyeing and drying times take a week for me to have the order paid for and then to be able to ship. And that's because at the moment I am also dyeing not only to refill the shop on shop update days, but also for upcoming shows. So there is a time frame that you should consider when you're ordering stuff, but also the more of you that order and the more sales that I get, that time will increase slightly, and I apologise for that, so you'll have to bear with me if you do order and there is a bit of a wait. But you can always ask beforehand, before you order, just to get an idea of what time frames are like at that point in time as to whether you want to order then or whether you'd like to hold off. That custom listing will be up until January, which I think will be the next time that I change my colour range. I may not change the range entirely, but I may get rid of a few and add in a few. Certainly the colourways from the Fibre Club will be available from January, so there will be some additional changes, so there will be at least 6 new colourways, but you know, we'll see how we go and we see what colourways work and what colourways need replacing as to how many other new colourways I will have out in January. So yes, there is opportunity for you to grab hold of some hand-dyed fibre if you've been missing it in the shop updates. I am also sampling a couple of other ideas as we speak. I don't really want to give away too much in terms of details, but hopefully you will see them at some point in the future in the shop. If not, then again, in sort of January, February time, I will release them as kind of a new collection. So it's kind of sampling crazy at the moment. I'm also working with a retail outlet on some hand-dyed product for them, so that's quite interesting, and again that needs to be colourways that I'm not using within my shop, so that's quite a lot of sampling, and which is kind of great because I like the sampling stage because you have the opportunity to be creative, but that can hold up production for me because obviously I've only got one pair of hands. So I've tried to get ahead with that as much as possible and been putting extra hours in over the weekends, and certainly for the foreseeable future up until the Glastonbury show, which I will tell you about in a minute. I will be sampling and producing like crazy, so I hope that by the time you get to that show you'll be seeing lots of new things. But also there'll be plenty of my current hand-dyed range for you to buy from as well. So, I guess we probably ought to talk about shows now. I had 2 shows this last month. I had the Exeter Spinners, Weavers and Dyers Guild at the beginning of the month. Sorry, it was probably more middle of the month actually, let me just have a look. It was the 14th of July, so yeah, middle of the month really. And I had Coldharbour, as I say, last weekend, which was the 29th of July. It was really fantastic to see everybody, and I'm going to insert a couple of pictures here to show you some of customers' work that I saw during the day. So they will appear here. The response to both shows was fantastic, and it's always nice to see familiar faces, people who have made not only a special trip to see me, but also those people who I've seen at the same event the year before. It's really nice also to catch up with you, not only on a personal level, but to see what you're knitting and spinning on, and just generally chat about fibre and fibre crafts and that kind of thing. So I had a really, really good time. And of course we met lots of new people as well, so it was a really good response, and it was the first time at these 2 particular shows that I was able to show hand-dyed braids, and they went like crazy. So really, really pleased with that. It is fantastic to get, that sort of, all that hard work out there and sort of reaffirmed as the right move, the right direction for me now. So as I say, I'm looking to do a lot more of that, and with the sort of popularity of Fibre Club and of Fleece Club, I think definitely I'm going to look at doing a lot more things like that, a lot more spin-alongs and knit-alongs. Those will be hosted over on the Ravelry group, so if you are on Ravelry, do find me on Ravelry. The group is SarasTextureCrafts, and you can join in as much or as little as you like. I think there's about 80 of us at the moment. We have our quiet periods and we have our chatty periods, so it will be kind of nice if I can get a few more spin-alongs and knit-alongs up there, so that we've got a little bit more to chat about, I think, really. So I will get working on some new ideas. I've certainly, in my sampling process, I've got some new knitting patterns that I will have available to buy both on Ravelry and on the website. I'm putting the final touches to 2 of those projects, ready to photograph and write up, and then one I'm just in the middle of working on now. So I'm hoping by maybe the end of September to have those released, and it would be really great if I could have some spin-alongs and knit-alongs to go with those. So if any of you are interested, do pop over to the Ravelry group and kind of join the Ravelry group, introduce yourselves and just keep an eye out. I will mention any upcoming spin-alongs and knit-alongs in the podcast and in my newsletters too. So yeah, lots to be excited about, and lots of new ideas. So keep an eye out. Another upcoming show is the Glastonbury Wool Festival. I'm not sure whether you've heard about that before. I think they've done a couple now. And basically the idea is that we come together as a group of spinners, knitters, crocheters, felters, weavers, you know, anyone interested in fibre crafts on any level, come together at Glastonbury. We do a weekend. There are lots of stalls, people like myself will be there. There'll also be lots of things happening around the town, I'm pretty sure there are different workshops and things like that going on. There'll also be the sheep run down the high street. I think last year, I was just told by the farmer I was speaking to earlier actually that apparently some of the sheep last year escaped into the boots of Glastonbury. So, which I'm sure was quite funny. Probably not to the staff of Boots maybe, but yeah, I should imagine that was quite a sight. So it's a bit of a family day out. So if you are in the area, I will personally be hosting my stall in the town hall of Glastonbury Town Centre. So do pop along and join in the fun. That will be on the 18th and 19th of August, so I'm just hoping that we will have some dry weather for that, and yeah, it'll be good to see you all, so do come and check that out. Okay, so that brings me to, I guess, the final things that I'm going to mention for today. First of all will be my stock update, and secondly, I thought I would give you a bit of a sort of slideshow, a picture show and a bit of video from one of the things that myself and Darrin popped off to do when we had that fabulous sunshine last week. So let's get on to the stock update. Okay, so bear with me, there's going to be a bit of bending down. It's not much to show, but hopefully lots of colour to inspire. We'll start off with dyed fleece. I have, and I'm just leaning over, see if I can grab as many of the nice colours as possible. I have Wensleydale. Finally I've managed to get some of the Wensleydale that I kept back for myself dyed up for the shop. I did have quite a few of the white fleeces available. I've still got black, which is really, really beautiful. But the white went so fast that I didn't have as much as I actually anticipated to have in stock for dyeing. So here is some of what I will have. I'm going to have 2 colourways up in the shop update, which is actually happening August the 3rd, which is this Friday. If I can get this released in time, this will be forward notice of that shop update. But yes, this is Wensleydale, so you can see the beautiful curls. And I think all this really needs is a flick card if you're going to spin from it. If you want to preserve the curls, then you can tail spin those in, which will be fantastic actually. And what I love about this this Wensleydale, many Wensleydale and Teeswater farmers cringing at the thought of me getting the two mixed up there. But yeah, this is Wensleydale, and the thing I love about this, if I just pull off some locks, is that because the locks are so long, much in the same way that Teeswater is, when you dye it, you get often 2 or more colours sitting on one lock, so you get this lovely graduation between one colour right through to the next. Fantastic to spin with, also great for felt making, for things like hair for dolls, if you're a doll maker. And this colourway is colour tourmaline, so you get quite a range of pinks and yellows and greens and as they join together you get this kind of purpley bluey effect, and that is lovely. There is quite an amount of that. I will be selling that in 50-gram batches at £3.50 per 50 grams. Like Teeswater, it is an expensive fleece to buy, and also there's some time involved in prepping and dyeing that, so that's why it's £3.50 per 100 grams. But it is well worth the investment if you wanted to buy, say, 100 or 200 grams to hand spin into yarn. Again, if you're only tail spinning it, you probably only need 50 grams, and that will see you through at least 100, maybe 150 grams worth of yarn, because you're probably only going to pop them in every so often. The second fleece I've got for you is some more Gotland. I've been dyeing this up again like crazy because you guys seem to have been eating this, which is fine. I've got lots more for you to digest, and pretty soon the lambs will be shorn as well, so that will be lovely because that'll be nice and soft. I thought I would show you colour malachite, and hopefully you can catch the differences of blue greens and yellow greens and sort of browns that are on there. And if I pick a lock for you, let's see if I can find one that's got nice colour gradation on it. Okay, again, as with any locks, you tend to get, you know, sort of more than one colour on there. It sort of happens less with things like the Gotland because it's a much shorter staple length than the Wensleydale, but there you can see it where it's come up like a moss sort of colour there, and then you've got this real sort of teal green at the ends there. And the other thing I love about the Gotland as well is that because the Gotland fleece is like a steel grey and it's made up of white and black hair, and every fleece is different, and every part of every fleece is different. So when you dye up a batch, you get some pieces of lighter colour and then darker colour within the same batch. And the way that the dye works with the black and white hairs within the staple gives a really stunning effect. So that's colour malachite. I have a couple more colourways of that will be up for sale, and of course I'm dyeing more as we speak, so don't worry if you've missed a colourway or it runs out too quickly. There will be some more. The lambs, I hope, of course it depends on the weather, will be shorn at the end of August, so hopefully it will be sometime in September when I'll have lamb's fleece available. That may, depending on how much I can get hold of, that may or may not hit the shop in its natural form because I've still got some of the ewe and yearling fleece left. So that may all go for dyeing, but it will be available in the shop as soon as I can get it in there in whatever form. The other fleece I have I've dyed this week is Romney. Let me just pull some off for you. Romney takes the colour fantastically, and I've dyed this on white. Now the Romney I've got in the shop is variegated, and that's because I was only able to get about 3 or 4 of the white fleeces, so I've kept those for dyeing because I know a lot of you like to buy dyed fleece because you haven't necessarily got the space or the time, well, let's face it, sometimes the energy to dye it up yourself, so it's a good opportunity to buy that, still working directly with the locks as you spin, but buy it in a colour other than white. So this is colour autumn, and you see you've got moss, brown, and then the sort of blood orange almost, and that's come up lovely. I do have that in the shop in several different colourways, and it is a real beauty to spin. I have, I think I chose colour Nebula for one of my production yarns, and I spun that up. Let me, in momentum, por favor, let me just go and grab that and show you. Hold on. So here it is, colour Nebula. I spun this directly from the dyed fleece as it was. I didn't prep it in terms of carding. I didn't even bother to flick card it. I just literally took the fleece as it was and spun it. It spun like a dream. This stuff just wants to be yarn. It just really wants to be yarn. So this is colour Nebula, and you can see I've got sort of blues and purples and pinks and yellows and a little bit of white in there as well. And I applied that against Black Jacob, which is a warm sort of browny black colour. And I used that purely because I wanted the colour of the Romney to really pop, but also to have a kind of similar feel in finished yarn. So there it is. I think this skein might be about 100 grams. I'm not sure, but it will be enough to make a hat or something like that from. And this is going to go on the stall for Glastonbury, so if it doesn't sell at Glastonbury you'll find it on the website at some point soon. And I really enjoyed spinning that, so if you do fancy trying Romney, again you can buy that in small amounts of 50 grams. I had, yeah, this is 100 grams if I remember right, yeah, because I took 50 grams of colour Nebula and Romney and then 50 grams in the Jacobs and spun those together, and I really enjoyed that. So that's £3.50 per 50 grams. So that's colour Autumn, and as I say there's plenty more available on the website and also on Etsy if you prefer to shop on Etsy. The next thing, Knops. This is for all of you felt makers out there, so excuse the rustling. You can also use this if you're a spinner, but basically these are knops. They're little tiny balls of wool. And I've dyed them up. This is my colour Malachite. And I've dyed them up with felt makers in mind initially. If you're a felt maker you would use these to like sprinkle on the surface, and then you would just really lightly catch those in with a layer of your sort of base fibre if you're using Merino or something like that, to sort of secure them in. And because they are quite hairy, I mean you can probably see that there, the little fibres that are coming off, they felt quite well, and they can make really nice surface decorations. If you're a needle felter you can needle felt them into surface decoration, or if you picked out certain colours you could use them as polka dots on felt beads, that kind of thing. Sometimes if I'm doing small characters I use some of these just for the eyes, just because it's that perfect round shape, and they work in felting so well. If you're a spinner you can spin these in, because they have a hair to them, I mean like that, you can see that they do kind of cling to each other, so they will spin into your yarn, but I would say make sure that you are spinning quite slowly when you put them in, so that you can catch them with enough fibre around them so they show up as a little bit of a burr to almost add like a tweed effect to your finished yarn, but also they're quite nicely secured in by your main fibre base so that they won't fall out when you wash them. You can also use them in paper making and things like that, sprinkle them between layers of your paper as you're going along. That always gives quite a nice interesting effect. So I'll have those in a number of colours. I will have them on the website again. I also have them on Etsy. And then finally, of the few braids that I do have left, I've kind of divvied them up between the website and Etsy. So there's not really a great amount of anything, but there is a few of them about, so keep your eyes open. I start uploading generally around 9:30 and finish around 10:30, unless it's a massive upload, and then that will continue sometimes. But this is colour Wildflowers on my Blueface Leicester base. So it's got these sort of purpley pinks, greens, mossy colours, these sort of deeper reddy plummy colours, and this spins up lovely. It's quite nice on its own or plied against a solid colour yarn as well. And that's another thing as well. If you did, I have had several customers who've asked me to buy, say, a braid of this and then buy a braid of a base colour to sit with it. So like they've picked like either the sort of purpley raspberry colour there, or they've picked the mossy colour. And what I've done is I've dyed them another 100 grams of that, so they apply colour against a more solid colour hand-dyed braid as well. And that has come up lovely. I've seen some really interesting effects with that. So if you wanted something like that, then let me know. It's not something I've got on the website at the moment, but it's certainly something I'm looking to expand into, so let me know. There's no reason why I can't do a custom dye order for you if that's something that you want, you know, sort of now really, before I get my first listings up there on the website. So that's it really for stock take. The previous stock take pretty much is sold out, apart from the hand dyed and hand spun yarns, so you still have opportunity to go and grab those. What else was there that I wanted to mention from the website? I think that was probably it. It's been one of those months where it's been so hectic that my brain's kind of all over the place. Oh, there were a couple of fleeces that did arrive that I put up in my last update, and that was Ryland, Blueface Leicester in brown, which is amazing. And I also had some Soe fleece as well. I think I only have about 100 grams of the Soe fleece left now. But if you are still interested, they are up on the website. And of course I've got 2 knitting patterns as well, which I will show you pictures here. Okay, so that's it really. That's everything I've got. The other thing I thought might be quite interesting to show you was some proof that we did in fact have some sun here in Devon, because every time I get to edit one of these videos that I do, I always find myself starting off by saying, well, firstly apologising that the light's not good, or again the noise from the road, but I always end up saying, oh my god, it's raining again. And whilst it's looking quite grey and horrible and dark out there, for the last week or so we have had the most amazing sun. It has been summer, 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 and I've been so happy that I thought I would actually show you guys some proof that we did have sun. So this is a little photo diary and a very short, like 1-minute video of me and Darrin in Ilfracombe, which is in Devon. We went to the Tunnel Beaches, which is a really fantastic spot to go to actually. It was the first time we went there, and I think we paid, it was £2.50 per person to go in, and that basically manages, you know, sort of keeps, it sort of manages the area. That money goes back into looking after, there's a little kind of museum bit in that there are plaques and things that give you the history behind the tunnels, why they were built, and just the kind of general upkeep of the little beach there and that kind of thing. But there was some amazing rock pools. There was also a rock pool that was big enough, when the tide goes out, the water stays in it, so it's kind of landlocked by some of the rocks around the side. And I can't work out whether that's purposely man-made or whether that was kind of a natural large rock pool, because there are several natural rock pools as you go around the side of this beach. But anyway, because the water stays in this particular pool, it obviously warms up with the sun, so it is absolutely lovely to sit in, swim in. Because I didn't know beforehand that the weather was going to stay with us and that this pool was there, I didn't bring my swimming costume, so I only got to paddle in it, but it's certainly one to remember for next time, and I definitely recommend that you go and give it a look. There's plenty to do on this little beach, and it is really little. You could probably only get about 150 people on there at the most, and that's like sitting back to back to back kind of thing. So it is kind of tiny, but there's lots of little things to do if you're not really someone who wants to sit on the beach. It's a shale beach, so it's not sandy sunbathing stuff. But, you know, you can go swimming, and then of course if you want to go rock pooling, you can do that. If you want a sandy beach, we also did visit Ilfracombe Beach, which is just up the road. That is a beautiful, beautiful, long, sandy stretch of beach. And if it's sunny, it's like being abroad. It's fantastic. But anyway, without further ado, here's a little glimpse of our day out. Before that, I'd just like to say thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time. So until then, keep dreaming in fibre. Cheers. Find anything? Yeah, no fishes. No. So it's a beautiful day, isn't it?